Welcome everyone, it's Rod from Civil Advantage Firearms Training. Thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to learn a little bit about the firearm classification system in Canada. This is a really important video if you're familiar with the gun control argument but not familiar with firearms and actually how they're truly regulated in Canada. It's also important if you care about the gun debate. The debate about gun control, because I'm quite concerned about it. I don't want guns getting into the hands of criminals. I don't like it any more than you do. But I think the debate is, how do we go about that and how do we make effective laws? So these videos are just part of helping people understand the issues a little bit better. So hopefully it does help. So I would have to say that if you're reasonable or analytical in any way, the following information should be shocking to you. Certainly if you care about making laws and that are effective, it should be shocking. So let's get started. I'm going to explain in Canada how we have three classes of firearms and what they are real quick, just because you need the backgrounder. In Canada, three classes of firearms. First are non-restricted firearms, typically rifles and shotguns, typically long guns, and are owned for a sporting, like target shooting or competition, sporting purpose or hunting purpose. Don't have to explain hunting. The non-restricted classification, I guess you could call that the least regulated classification. You can basically drive around with these guns in your car, no secure locking device or trigger locks, as some people might call them, required on the firearm. It just has to be unloaded. And you can drive around with them in your vehicle as long as you're possessing them for a lawful purpose. The next classification is restricted, which are typically pistols. Also, any firearm of any kind for any reason, any time, that the government or the RCMP thinks should be restricted. The last classification is prohibited, which are typically very short pistols or full autos, which means that the action continues to cycle and spit bullets out for as long as I depress the trigger and will stop only when I release the trigger. But it also contains any firearm of any kind for any reason that the government or the RCMP thinks should be prohibited, for any reason, anytime. Okay, so those are your three classifications: non-restricted, restricted, and prohibited. One last thing before we get going on is, what is a cartridge? These firearms use cartridges, so we're going to talk about a Centerfire cartridge. So here's a picture. This is a Centerfire cartridge. It has a bullet, it has a case, it has some powder inside, and it has a primer. The primer is found in the back of the center of the cartridge, right here. It's called a Centerfire cartridge because that primer's in the center, and that's the thing that gets the whole operation rolling. Basically, you have an explosive filled cap. It gets struck by a hammer or a firing pin. It explodes and sets that powder burning. That powder inside the case that burns creates expanding gases, and that therefore pushes the projectile, which is the bullet, down the barrel. Okay, now you know everything you need to know about firearms. Let's get started. So we're going to look at a few different firearms and see how they're classified, and see if we can make sense out of this whole system. Let's talk about Centerfire semi-automatic rifles. Okay, so the Su16, Centerfire, meaning it uses the cartridges that are similar, work in this, in the same principle as the one I showed you. It's a semi-auto, meaning that it shoots one round every time you pull and release the trigger. There seems to be a lot of confusion around that, but that's how it works. I pull the trigger and release it, one round comes out. If I hold the trigger, it doesn't shoot anymore. It uses AR-15 or STANAG magazines. Just to let you know, STANAG magazines, well, STANAG stands for Standardization Agreement, and that's a NATO thing. Basically, they took the AR-15 magazine that was developed back in the 50s, the late 50s, and said, we want all our firearms for NATO countries to be designed around this magazine so that we can share a magazine. So when you see that term, that's what it means. It fires the 5.56 NATO or .223 Remington cartridge. No criminal shootings ever recorded in Canada for this firearm, and it is classified non-restricted. So as I mentioned, you can drive around with this in the car. Looks kind of aggressive, but whatever. It's a Centerfire semi-auto, no big deal. The next one, Robertson Arms XCR, Centerfire semi-auto, uses AR-15 magazines, fires 5.56, .223 Remington, no criminal shootings ever recorded in Canada. Basically the same firearm, non-restricted. Next one, AR-18, also known as the AR-180. All the same information as the last two firearms. In fact, this is kind of old and rickety, whatever. No criminal shootings ever recorded in Canada, at least none that I can find. Prohibited. It's just prohibited just because. Next one, AR-15. All the same specs, restricted. Let's look at another one, the SIG 556. Exactly the same gun, prohibited. The Bushmaster ACR, all the same specs again, non-restricted. So all these rifles, let's look at this list, all these rifles use the same ammo, same muzzle velocity, same energy, same magazines, yet they're all classified differently, you know, in the three, you know, they all run across the three different classifications based on literally the mood at the time of the people that were classifying them. That's, and I'm not joking, it's not hyperbole, I'm not being facetious. That's exactly how they did it. So look at this, you know, so here's the long and short of it. If I'm caught in possession with this old thing, the AR-180, I mean, look at this thing. I'll go to jail for a mandatory minimum sentence of 3 years for possession of prohibited firearm. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the maximum is 14 years for that. If I'm caught with this thing, the ACR, look at it. You know, beautiful firearm, no problem. I can drive around in the car all day with that thing, no problem. But the AR-18, going to jail for a long time. Okay, let's look at another group of firearms known as bullpups. These are pretty scary looking guns. All right, let's start with the Steyr AUG, or AUG, civilian version. Centerfire semi-automatic, uses AR-15 or Stanag magazines, fires the 5.56 NATO or 223 Remington. No criminal shootings ever recorded in Canadian history. Again, none that I can find. Prohibited. We're going to speed it up. Let's look at another one, the IWI Tavor, very popular rifle in Canada right now. Does all the same stuff, operates the same way, non-restricted. The Norinco T97 NSR, again, basically the same firearm, absolutely no difference, non-restricted. So here we got another list of rifles, more of the same stuff, completely arbitrary classification based on someone's emotions or on the general appearance of the firearm. We're classifying firearms based on how they look with ramifications to literally millions of Canadians. Okay, so let's look at some heavier caliber semi-autos, and we're going to keep moving fast just in the interest of time. Take a look at this one. XCR-M Centerfire semi-auto fires 308 cartridges, also known as 7.62 by 51 NATO. Non-restricted. So again, roll around with that in the car, no problem, as long as I have it for a lawful purpose. FNFAL, exactly the same gun, prohibited. The AR-10, exactly the same gun, restricted. Springfield Armory, very expensive gun, quite popular, really nice firearm. Exactly the same gun, non-restricted. H&K G3, the same gun. This one's actually quite expensive. It's quite a nice firearm. Prohibited. All the same stuff. So here we are with another list. Don't bother trying to find the rationale behind the system. You're just going to make yourself frustrated. So again, let's speed it up and keep it going. What about shotguns? Are shotguns an issue? Another popular firearm in all societies are shotguns. All right, let's have a look. Mossberg 500 pump action 12 gauge shotgun, centerfire, non-restricted. Benelli M4 semi-automatic 12 gauge shotgun, centerfire, non-restricted. The Spaz 12 semi-auto or pump action 12 gauge shotgun, centerfire firearm as well, prohibited. So there's another list. Make sense of that if you can. Now, what about 50 cal rifles? So the RCMP has been making a bunch of noise lately about 50 caliber rifles and what a menace it is to public safety. So first of all, before I even get into it, right? They're saying it's a public safety issue. There's never been, and not that I can find, and not that anyone I know can find, because I asked. There's never been a criminal shooting with a 50 caliber rifle in Canadian history, in the history of the country, ever, not one. But apparently it's on top of the agenda because it's a public safety concern. Let's look at some of these rifles and see. We're only going to look at two, but because I think you're getting the message. Let's have a look. The Ivor Johnson AMAC long range rifle, single shot, 50 BMG. Now have a look at this thing. You guys have been learning a little bit about firearms. Look at this. It has no magazine. You have to take the whole bolt out of this thing to reload it. It's a single shot firearm. Prohibited. Now, let's have a look at another one. A GM6 Lynx centerfire semi-auto. So it's a semi-automatic 50 BMG. In a bullpup configuration, man, that thing is scary looking. Non-restricted. Non-restricted. Now, it's scary and it's powerful and it's non-restricted. How many shootings? Again, 0. No one shoots each other with these things. Even the criminals don't use them. But apparently, we're going to need some more regulation. Anyone with even moderate intelligence can see that this classification system, as I presented it to you, and I assure you, I work for the Canadian Firearms Program, I know how it works, has no connection with reality. It has no connection with public safety. If you have one of these guns, you have all of these guns. You have any one of them. What I want to leave you with is look at everything that's available today. You can get a multitude of military style firearms, which are no different than hunting firearms. They're just Centerfire semi-autos. Now you know what the difference is. Whether it looks like this or whether it looks like this, it doesn't really matter. It's the same gun. I hope that I've helped you understand how the system works and why there's so much opposition in the firearms community to these vicious and prejudicial and arbitrary regulations and how they affect normal law-abiding people.